Biker Dad is brought to you by Upstate BikerLawyer.com and Tom Schimmerling, founding member of the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. My name is Chris Best. I left my 25-year corporate career to ride motorcycles and tell stories. And this week, that adventure brings me back here to Rochester, New York. We are at the Let's Roll 9/11 ride, and that's where we start this episode of the Biker Dad TV show. So let's roll. Have you ever sat at your job and thought, what if I just got up and left? Tell that horrible boss to take this job and shove it. Have you ever wanted to just walk out? What about burnout? Well, that's exactly what I did, but I didn't just quit. I left my 25-year corporate career to ride motorcycles and tell your story. Daytona Beach, Florida, where you can actually drive onto the beach. Rick Fairless, a legend of his own, introduced me to Richard Rollins, Mayfield, Kentucky. Southeast Missouri, beautiful city of Knoxville, Tennessee. Gulf Coast of Mississippi, the Florida coast and the Tampa Bay area, Orange County Choppers, Roadhouse and Museum, talking to Paul Tuttle Sr. himself. But make no mistake, this is not a show about motorcycles or even about me. Instead, I travel across the country to meet the people who use their passion for motorcycles to make their communities stronger, safer, and better. This is Biker Dad.
I would like to introduce to you our presenting sponsor, Tom Schimmerling.
We rode today for the real heroes, the first responders who ran towards the flames, the veterans who carried our country on their backs.
My name is Tom Schimmerling, Upstate BikerLawyer.com. Today we're doing the annual Operation Patriot Foundation 9/11 tribute ride, and as always, this is like a totally wonderful event. Right now there's a Bob Seger tribute band playing, and they're doing an awesome job. I heard Bob Seger years ago, and you really can't tell the difference as far as I'm concerned. There are all these different groups have come out here, firefighters, veterans, police, and everyone coming together to honor the people who fell at 9/11 and honor the people who have served the country. And I just think it's wonderful every year. I look forward to this. We do a lot of events. I enjoy all of them, but I gotta say this is one of my favorites. And one thing that happened that's kind of interesting, one of the speakers was a general. His last name slips my mind right now. I can tell you his first name was Jim. And I know that because he came up to me and shook my hand after I spoke, and he says, "I'm Jim." And I didn't even realize he was the general. And I thought to myself, this guy has some wonderful humility by not introducing himself as General Smith or, whatever his name is. This is such a beautiful venue on the shores of Lake Ontario, such a huge lake. It's like being in an ocean. We got the phone call, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, to ask if we would be the presenting sponsor. And at the time, I didn't know that much about it, but we said, okay, we'll give it a go, see how it goes. And it just was the most wonderful event. And there were I think there were 1,000 bikes that year. It was just so impressive, the turnout and the dedication of all these people that I just kept doing it. I hope to do it again next year and the year after that.
So I made it to Ontario Beach Park here in Rochester, New York, and that's amazing to put that huge American flag up. One thing is you got to be prepared. I looked at the weather apps before I left Alabama, and it said sunshine and 70 degrees. And as you can tell, it's not sunshine, and it's definitely not 70 degrees. And it was really wet coming here, so a little chilly. But good news is the sun is coming out, the rain's gone, and things are warming up. So it's about time to roll out and ride.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
I am Michelle LaFollette from Buffalo, New York.
Nick Tomino, Buffalo, New York. We come out to ride and support the good cause. Put some of these veterans in good standing again.
And he's done Patriot Guard rides before, and I never had, so this was my
Shout
first
out
time.
to this guy, Billy, here.
He did that last week,
A couple of weeks ago.
That's
Northtown. That's up in Niagara Falls. We come out here, we spend an hour and a half on the road. We just spent 2 hours riding with these guys and check out all these bikes.
It was very cool. I thought it was really cool seeing all the procession and the parade and all the cops and and all the people being patriotic on the side of the road. There were some people dressed up. Uncle Sam, I don't know if you saw him. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it turned out to be a really nice day.
And now it's beautiful out.
We're from out of town, so we got a room here in Rochester for the night. We're gonna see what's in the city and leave out tomorrow, having had a great experience on the road.
And a late checkout too. We paid an extra 2 hours. You want to use the pool.
You said you ride with the Patriot Guard. Tell me about that. How long did you do that? Why did you do that?
Well, I've done it on and off for the last 2 or 3 years. We do a lot of veterans funerals. We stand flag lines. We do processions to grave sites and stand flag lines there. Families like it. They get a plaque. A lot of the people are grieving. They want to see a lot of veterans turn out and support them, especially veterans that die. That's what we do it for.
I'd also like to mention the families, what the families do for soldiers that are deployed overseas, and the burden that they have waiting on the word and not knowing and holding down the front.
I am Chrissy with Upstate Biker Lawyer.
And what are you doing today?
Oh, we are set up out here at the 9/11 ride. Best event of the year. They have been doing this. This is the 24th year. Mark and Operation Patriot Foundation put together this event every year. They do an awesome job putting this together for the memorial for the 9/11 tragedy that happened, as we all know. Upstate Biker Lawyer has been doing this for now, gosh, how many years have we been doing this? A lot of years now. And he is the presenting sponsor because he just thinks this is so important. This is actually his favorite day of the year. He looks forward to this from the time it ends to the next year. And Tom is always here for all our veterans, for our first responders, for kids with stuff. I mean, he's out here doing everything. He does everything. He likes to get involved in all these causes because he feels so passionate about it. I love this event. I think that this morning, I think the weather scared a few people away, but I think they all caught up with the ride at some point because I feel like way more people pulled in at the end than pulled out. And there was still there was still a ton of people.
So the 9/11 tribute ride and concert isn't just a place for bikers to hang out. In fact, a whole bunch of the people from the community here in Rochester and all over upstate New York come to this event every year, partly to remember 9/11, but also they put on an awesome concert after the ride, and a lot of these people came here just for that.
Rochester! How y'all doing today?
It's crazy to think that this is the 25th anniversary of 9/11 this year. When we think back to 2000, and we all said that we would never forget. Well, it looks like we never did. It's amazing how many people show up for this ride here in Rochester every year. It's beautiful right now, but when we started out this morning, it was rainy, dreary, cold, and everybody still sucked it up and came. And the ride was amazing.
So 25 years ago, I was actually coming back. I met a friend in New York City, and I was driving back from New York City. I was about halfway. I think I was living in the Delhi area. And I listened to the radio, back in those days, listened to the radio, and it said that a private plane had crashed into the World Trade Center, one of the towers. And I thought, well, that sounds odd, but it seemed like an accident. And then maybe a half hour later, they announced another plane had hit the World Trade Center. At that point, they thought, was this an accident? Is it not an accident? Well, I mean, come on, seriously, I had no idea they were commercial airliners. I thought they were small private planes that crashed into the World Trade Center. So, and then, this went on for quite a few hours. They were in flames, and I had gotten home and I was watching television, the awful trauma of watching them collapse. That was just one of the most awful feelings, knowing that all those people were in those buildings. And, so I remember vividly. Yeah, people certainly haven't forgotten, even all the way up here in Rochester in the city. So many people in New York City, New Jersey, Connecticut had people that they knew that, working in the Twin Towers. I'll just say that I'm looking forward to doing it again next year, and I hope we can get like 2,000 bikes out here.
I'd like to hear a lot of noise in honor of law enforcement today.
Yeah, because I know exactly where I was.
Everybody remembers where they were that day.
Where were you guys?
I was working in Ingram Micro in Buffalo, New York, and there's 2,200 people there, and we had 9 employees in the World Trade Centers when they dropped, but they got out. And one of the women that worked there, she was pregnant at the time she got out, so her daughter speaks at all the tributes. Yeah.
Her daughter's 25.
Yeah,
25.
right. And without mentioning names, but one of the top dogs that was in the building at the time, I didn't like the way he treated you like you were less. And after that, he was very humble and very nice. And I think he had an awakening, He had an awakening because he was a whole different person after that drop.
Thompson Box Company in North Tonawanda, New York. And I remember the boss came out and he said, hey, there's something going on. Everybody shut down. We shut the whole factory down. Everybody went into the break room and we watched it on the television for that. There was people crying there, for sure.
They froze all the computers where I worked because it's an Ingram Micro's computer software place. Once the first one hit, then the other things shut down, and there's 2,200 people in the building. So they at the facility brought out all the TVs in the atrium, and everybody watched it in the atrium.
Never forget what they did to us on 9/11.
This means so much. I mean, I wasn't here when 9/11 happened. I was actually living in Florida at the time, and I was at the doctor's getting a sonogram because I was pregnant with my youngest son, Dustin. And I was in the doctor's office reading a magazine when I see everybody in the doctor's office just staring up at the TV. And I looked and I seen the second plane hit, and I'm like, what just freaking happened? And I mean, it's just like everybody else, it hits you. And it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to say, but the day after 9/11, so 9/12, to see everybody come together, despite of everybody's differences, whatever. How 9/11, it's kind of a weird thing to say, but how it brought everybody together. So like 9/12 was like everyone came together regardless of anything else that was going on, any other little bicker thing they had going on, and that was good to see. But when everybody comes here and everyone can get together from all different walks of life and...
Hi there, this is Chris Best, the Biker Dad. I'm just here to let you know that myself and the hundreds of thousands of people who follow us on social media and watch the TV show are here to help. Do you need help with something? Give me a call. That's my number right there, 251-402-6392. Especially if you need legal help, I have an army of lawyers across the country who can help you with injuries after motorcycle crashes especially, but other stuff like crime and everything else too. So give me a call, 251-402-6392. Biker Dad is brought to you by Upstate, BikerLawyer.com, and Tom Schimmerling, founding member of the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. It's Biker Dad. We're here talking with Schimmerling Injury Law, Lindsay specifically, about issues dealing with motorcycles and law and injuries especially. And I'm basically, for lack of better terms, an influencer and a content creator, and the tools that we use to create content like GoPros and those 360 cameras, generally strapping those on our helmets or whatever because we're trying to get some cool shots and video, but they can actually be key in some motorcycle crash cases too. So tell me about that.
So when you have a dash cam or some sort of device on your motorcycle when you're riding, there's very clear evidence. There's video evidence of exactly, how the crash happened, who was at fault, what the road conditions were like, and also who was around. And it can also help you with if you're injured and you're not necessarily thinking that there was somebody around who saw what happened, you may have picked up that footage on your dash cam, being able to see that there was somebody there who can be a witness in the accident. It also kind of clears up that the biggest factor is fall. Like a lot of times, you know, the motorcyclist gets blamed, and under most circumstances, it's honestly not the motorcyclist that's to blame.
Yeah, so once you establish fault and the extent of injuries, it's pretty much how much insurance there is, and having that evidence get you over the first hurdle is probably really helpful.
Yes, it's very helpful in settling cases. And again, I always recommend to contact an attorney as soon as you're able to after you've been in a motorcycle accident.
And I imagine on the flip side, if you're riding around like an idiot, and it can also be damaging against you, so you probably want to keep that in mind before you strap the camera on as well. Not that I'm condoning any bad behavior, but I would assume that would be the case.
Yes, you want to stay safe on your bike. You want to wear the, you know, proper protective gear, which I'm sure most, you know, motorcyclists know, and just stay safe and be aware of your surroundings. The biggest thing is just being visible.
Gary Whittenrich, aka Ziggy, with the Finger Lakes Bike Rally in upstate New York. It's the first year of an annual event. There's nothing like this in the area, and I think it's something that'll benefit not only a lot of the local communities, but the region itself. New York State doesn't have anything like this other than a couple events more up north in the Adirondacks, which are hours away for us. Oh, the Finger Lakes region is absolutely gorgeous, especially during the fall season. There's a lot of, they call them leaf riders, people that show up for the beautiful colors throughout the valleys. The Finger Lakes is an all-natural glacier-derived lakes. There's 11 of them. Seneca Lake is the biggest of them all, which is where Watkins Glen is. It's where NASCAR is held every year. It's probably the center point of the Finger Lakes that attracts the most attention with the Watkins Glen Gorge. Brings 1.2 million people a year into the area. So to have something bike related in this area where there's already a motorsport enthusiast involved, I think it just adds to it the beauty of the Finger Lakes. It's known for wineries, breweries, and distilleries. It all started with Woodstock. I watched a documentary on Woodstock and said if Michael Long can create something as big as he did, living on a farm in the middle of nowhere in New York, why can't I create a bike week? So after years of planning and contemplating and driving my old lady nuts, I finally got it started, and this is the first year of it. And so far we've had a lot of positive feedback on it, and a lot of good local businesses sponsoring and donations, and a lot of local communities are stepping up and helping out. This will help the community and bring people to the area and realize what a beautiful area we truly do live in. So the rally itself, I have Newt's Moto Rodeo. They're doing biker games. We have Burnout Pits. We have Mechanical Bull. I have a bike show. We have the Boar's Nest 414, which is the event venue. She has 40 acres of nice land just off Seneca Lake. Probably some of the best barbecue in upstate New York. She's a wonderful, wonderful person that's been nothing but giving and accepting of this event. And you know, we have a lot of vendors. I have my buddies out of Naples, 1808 Tattoo, that's setting up a tent. We have, you know, Tom Schimmerling from Upstate Lawyer. He's helping out. We have a lot of good businesses locally that are helping out and make this event worth it. So I met Tom probably 2-3 years ago. He showed up for a first aid, you know, in case anything happens on your motorcycle, how to take care of people, how to do first aid on someone that's been in a motorcycle accident. And I truly liked what he was doing for the community. And he's just an outstanding guy that supports the motorcycle world. He's always been there if you need anything. And for anybody in the biker world that has any legal issues, he's first in my book. So definitely a guy to know. Twist the grip, let it rip. The Finger Lakes is worth the trip.
Biker Dad is brought to you by UpstateBikerLawyer.com and Tom Schimmerling, founding member of the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers.
Hi, I'm Neil Flood. I'm the ride coordinator from the law enforcement side for Operation Patriot. I know Tom, but he's been a big supporter of this event too, right from the beginning. And I don't think it's a business support. I think it's personal. He believes in it, which is different from, hey, I'm here trying to, drum up business. I mean, great if he gets business out of it, but that's not his motivation. His motivation is to support the biker and the organizations we support. This year's recipient is an organization that supports police canines. Last year it was, I think it was a firefighter group. Yeah, it was the Brockport Fire Department's 9/11. They have a 9/11 memorial out there. We actually ride by the memorial, and they have a piece of the tower on display out front of the fire hall. So we ride right by that piece of the tower. That's part of why we go out there. So we supported that last year. There's just been different organizations, and I think Tom's believes in supporting those organizations.
Biker Dad road trip. On the road in upstate New York, I'm traveling from the Syracuse area, from Sharkey's in Liverpool up to Rochester for the 9/11 ride, and made a stop here. Had to. This is Seneca Falls, where It's a Wonderful Life, that Christmas movie, was not filmed here, but it's believed that it's very much inspired by Seneca Falls. It took place in Bedford Falls. Also, there's a bridge about a block from me where a man jumped off to save a woman who had jumped in the river here and died, and has been commemorated as a hero ever since. And people here feel like that scene, the last scene of It's a Wonderful Life, was inspired by his heroism. If you remember in the movie, there was the scene where he's going to jump off the bridge. Interesting thing about Seneca Falls is there are no falls. Several decades ago, they actually dammed them up to raise the water here to make it more of a thoroughfare for shipping. So there you go. Hey, by the way, that's a really awesome 2013 Street Glide that a Beidelman Harley Davidson up there in Rochester let me borrow for the week, and so that's how we're getting around here on the road in upstate New York. And now we're hitting the road again on to Rochester. Hey, when I'm on the road in upstate New York, I always stop here at Sharkey's Bar and Grill. Got a whole bunch of different cultures to come in. Everybody kind of blends together, whether you're a bike club, if you're a single rider, if you're just people that love music, love bikes.
A family-friendly place, and that's what I'm most proud of.
Whether you're a biker or a volleyballer or something in between, it's a place anyone can hang out. Every Thursday night during riding season, they have a massive bike night. Bike night is brought to you by UpstateBikerLawyer.com and the Biker Dad TV show. So make sure and come to Sharkey's on Thursday nights during the biker season and anytime, any other part of the year. And tell them Biker Dad sent you.
I was involved in a serious accident with a drunk driver. It was actually a wrist injury that had really came, from the accident. I do promotional modeling for motorsports. I also actually race semi-professionally as well. I had 3 surgeries altogether. Because of the accident, I actually haven't raced in about 2 years. So I knew Tom Schimmerling from previously. Tom Schimmerling was easy. He did everything for me and made it, very seamless. I was very satisfied with Schimmerling Injury Law and the settlement that they were able to get me.
Hi there, this is Chris Best, the Biker Dad. I'm just here to let you know that myself and the hundreds of thousands of people who follow us on social media and watch the TV show are here to help. Do you need help with something? Give me a call. That's my number right there, 251-402-6392. Especially if you need legal help, I have an army of lawyers across the country who can help you with injuries after motorcycle crashes especially, but other stuff like crime and everything else too. So give me a call, 251-402-6392. In New York, Biker Dad is brought to you by Upstate Biker Lawyer and Tom Schimmerling. Ride to eat, eat to live, live to ride. Here in Rochester, New York, I got about 4 hours before I need to hit the road back to Alabama. And I got a Harley and beautiful weather. And of course, I got to find somewhere great to eat. And, when you see a motorcycle parked in front of the restaurant already, it's probably a good bet that the food is good. We're gonna check out this, looks like old school 50s diner, about a couple blocks from Lake Ontario, and then go on a ride lakeside before gotta hit the road back to Alabama. So let's go and check this place out. I'm already digging the decor here and the old school signage and all that stuff. So Probably a cool little greasy spoon, but let's go find out.
So when I come to a place like this, I always ask them what they recommend. And here at Shaler's, they said that the #1 thing they sell is this. It's their cheeseburger on a hard roll, and it comes with mustard, onions, and hot sauce. And by hot sauce, they don't mean like sriracha. In Rochester, apparently hot means chili. We call this a chili burger in Alabama. They also have a thing called a Texas hot, which is just a chili dog. They call them Texas hots here for some reason. They do not call chili dogs Texas hot in Texas. Love the crinkle fries. Rochester is actually known for this thing called garbage plate, which I actually haven't tried yet. I've been here like 4 times, I haven't tried one. Maybe I'll hit a place like that before I head back to Alabama later today. I can tell this is going to be last. What it really tastes like is like a full-size Crystal or White Castle burger. Pretty good. So this is a family-owned joint like 2 blocks from Lake Ontario, which is a gorgeous ride. We're about to do 2 minutes. I've seen that the place has been here since 1956, so that's pretty awesome. And it looks like they have 2 other locations, and one of them since 1959, the other one since 1996, so they've been around for a long time. Obviously, must be pretty popular and well beloved around here. And if you're in the Rochester area, I definitely recommend checking it out. And Fat Chris is a sucker for ice cream. I can't resist it. And when I've already eaten that burger fries, I might as well try this. They have Perry's ice cream here at Shaler's, and it's interesting too because it's been around for 100 years. And they started making ice cream right here in the Rochester area, I believe, it was between here and Rochester 100 years ago. And I did the same thing. I asked the girl who's making ice cream like what I should try. She said the twist. This is doubly dumb. Not only is it going to make me fat, but I think I'm getting lactose intolerant in my old age. But I still keep eating ice cream. I don't know why. I guess it's good.
All right, Shaler's did not disappoint. Fantastic little greasy spoon place. Been here since 1956, and from the looks of it, ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So on the road here in Rochester, New York, definitely hit this place up if you're in the area, and it's time to go take advantage of this beautiful weather we're having here in Rochester, New York. That's it for this week's episode of the Biker Dad TV show, coming to you from Rochester, New York. And I want to thank Tom Schimmerling with UpstateBikerLawyer.com for supporting the Biker Dad TV show. And thank your local National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyer attorney who sponsors the show in your area, no matter where you live. One of the attorneys, the great attorneys from the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers, sponsors the Biker Dad TV show. So if you ever need help after a motorcycle accident, please give them a call or just give me a ring and I'll hook you up with them. Until next time, please look twice for motorcycles. Biker Dad is brought to you by UpstateBikerLawyer.com and Tom Schimmerling, founding member of the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers.